Here you go.
Welcome to Reset to Healthier Relationships, Sunday night at 9. You're at the right place at the right time in the presence of love, truth, and healing conversations. Tonight, we're asking a bold but necessary question. Do the birds and bees still matter? And not just the awkward talk we might have had as kids, but the deeper question of how we as grown men and women are allowed to speak, learn, and grow when it comes to intimacy. Let's be real. Many of us were raised on whispers and warnings. Don't get pregnant. Close your legs. Be a lady. But where was the lesson on pleasure, on communication, on how to say yes with joy and no with confidence, on how to heal from trauma or keep desire alive when you're married with kids and you're tired to the bone? Tonight, we center you. We'll unpack how sex education evolves over time, why your body deserves, why your body deserves new knowledge, not just survival, and how unlearning shame opens the door to deeper connection, richer pleasure, and real intimacy. Whether you're single, married, divorced, or somewhere in between, this space is yours. So take a deep breath, unclench your jaw, pour your tea, and let's talk grown, sacred, and free. Because the birds and bees, they've all grown up and they still matter. You ready, Mr. Carpenter?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rufus Carpenter, and I'm the co-host here in Reset to Healthy Relationships Sunday night at 9. A little quick background on myself. I came from a large family. Through the larger family, I got the essence of the human connection. I was married 27 years, and with that, I understand a deeper understanding of the human relationship and through that, you learn a lot about communication, a lot about trust, a lot about compromise, and you really learn a lot about grace in that situation. But it didn't stop there. I was in the military, and one of my jobs in the military was human and race relation leader. I had the responsibility to go into any military unit, and I'd be the first person on the scene whenever they had a race or relationship issue, and I would assess what level of responsibility or what resources we had towards solving that problem. So I have a diverse background in race relationship and human relationships. But tonight it's how we do it in the community. Okay, glad to have everybody here. Let me do a quick summary of last week and get everybody up to par. Before I do that, though, let me say that Sunday night at 9, this is a container where we have 20, like you and 20 of your girlfriends in your living room. It's after 9 o'clock. The kids are in bed. Everybody's relaxing from the day. You might have a cup of tea, like she said. Glenda said, your tea, or you might have a couple glasses of wine. Hey, it's up to you. It's Sunday night, and you deserve it. But the key to this is you have 20 of your girlfriends in your living room. You all know each other, you all friends, and now you get to talk about relationships. This is your chance to be open, honest, and free with it. And the reason why we do this, because a lot of things we're going to talk about in this container, you don't talk about it in church. You don't talk about in the street. You don't talk about it in school. You don't talk about it at work. So where do you get this education of some of the stuff we're doing tonight? And this community forum where your voice is just as strong or just as needed as my voice. So glad to have you here tonight. Oh, and I got to say thank you for last week. You guys were open. You guys were honest. You guys really let it out. And matter of fact, you kind of surprised me because I was really elated with how open and honest you were with your past experience and history, and it made a difference. Let me do a quick summary because went through so much last week, and that's why we have to do a part two of this. Do the birds and the bees still matter? The role of sex education, intimacy, and adult relationships. We started last week by saying, hey, your evolving needs still matter. It's more than biology and risk assessment or risk prevention. We started out with shorts. The short summary of last week is pretty much we started with first learning sex education. And the first learning of sex education, we realized it was warnings, whispers, and even trauma to some of us. It was actually trauma. We had asked everybody, what was the way you've learned? What was some of the ways you've got your sex education or got your knowledge or your first learning? Someone said messing with boys, their grandmama told me to make them sick. And we talked about that for a minute. So someone said from the brothers, the uncles, and Playboy and the Spiegel magazine. We talked about that for a minute. Somebody said they get it in the street. We talked about that for a long minute. And then someone said that experience with your partners, which is which most of us do. We get it through experience. Then we all talked about the formal school, co-ed, health classes in school. And then we ended up with someone said their mom told them that if you have a baby, your life is over. So that was how we got our first sex education. And then we found that as we went through it, we found out that some parents put their children on put the young ladies on birth control pill time they have their first cycle. So we talked about that, and we talked about the pros and cons of doing that. We discussed that. We realized that we've all had some type of misinformation when it comes to sex education. We even talked about the ages when you start trying or fumbling or feeling out or your first intercourse. And we came up that some people start as early as 12 years old. So we had 12 to 18 was the ages where people first started, whether they connected or whether they fumbled or tried something. This is the ages when they first got their first experience. We learned and we reviewed and talked about 2 language tools. And the language tools were yes, curious, and no. The other one we talked about was talk and touch. And we spent a few minutes on those, which was very educational and very understanding. I want to say this. We are so happy that we could open up this community forum, that we can talk about these type of things, and we can talk open, honest, and we can get away from the shame and the secrecy of this kind of stuff, because this is something that we should be able to talk about. So I want again to say thank you for being so open and honest last week, because last week it was more about sex education and risk management. And we started pleasure. We started talking about, let's turn the corner. Let's turn the corner from sex education to risk management. And let's tend to talk about pleasure and connection and intimacy. And that's where we kind of bogged down and we kind of stopped there, and we didn't get far, because we all agreed that this is a topic that's very mental, emotional, and spiritual. And that was very obvious to us, that this is just not just one. It's not a one size fit all. We broke down the sex education life into 3 different stages. We talked about our first stage, which was risks and whispers and warnings. That was the first stage. And that stage, since we found out that people started at 12 to 18, we kind of said that was the first stage. The second stage we said was from 19 to 35. And this is more about clear boundaries of consent. They call it grown and sexy. That's that age. Tonight we're going to talk about the third phase of this. And the third phase is from 40 to 70. Now, we're going to talk about how to make it more enjoyable and how to make it last. Because some of us have had so many issues with our bodies, with our mental, our physical, and spiritual issues in life. And we had some dings and some hits. So some of us have to go through some stuff. And we will talk about that, because this is realistic. We're not going to hold back. And because you don't know some of the things we'll talk about I could be going through them because you don't know my story. It could be me, or it could be you, or it could be somebody you know that need help. So tonight we're gonna dig in. We're gonna talk. We're gonna learn. We're gonna grow, and we're gonna speak when it comes to intimacy. All right, Glenda.
All right. All right, everyone. We're gonna get you. Well, Mr. Carpenter warned you up. So we're gonna kick this off. What's one thing you wish someone would have told you about sex when you were younger? I want you to put that in the chat. Put your response in the chat. One thing you wish someone had told you about sex when you were younger. Okay, got one response so far. Can I get a couple of more? All right, come on. Let's see. Okay, all right. All right, so far in the chat we have, let's see. Okay, so far in the chat we have wait till we're 40 to have it. Interesting. Someone else put in the chat is minds over matters.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, I'm not sure. Andre, can you help me with the last comment you made?
Well, I think that people don't realize that when they get involved sexually, sometimes it can be more addictive as a coping strategy for some people.
Okay. I couldn't make out that word, but yes, you're right. Yes, sex can be addictive, overly addictive for some folks. Someone, I think they commented on your comment, Andre, it's not. Okay, I have another comment in the chat says that it would not always be about me as much as the other person. Okay. Also, we have it's not always endurable. Oh my goodness. Yes, you hit the nail on the head. It is not always endurable.
Well, wait. I want to get in, but with that one, if I was a football referee, I'd throw the yellow flag out there.
Why is that? You've never heard of bad sex?
Well, when I was we're having fun. We're just starting out.
Okay, well, Andre,
just starting out.
Andre, the color purple, right?
Well, I'm just gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna just leave that one alone. But my antennas went up.
I bet they did. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your participation. I'm gonna move on. Okay. I want you to put in the chat. If you've ever had to unlearn something about intimacy that no longer served you. If you ever had to unlearn something about intimacy that no longer served you, what would it be? Rephrase the question. Okay.
What it is, intimacy, the connection, the making love, the intercourse, and all that. What is something you wish you had unlearned? I guess for me, I wish I wasn't taught that it was so much taboo. It was so much a secret. It was so much that I was fearful. You know, two things happened to me when I was taught about intimacy. One is I was scared of it. The other, I was very curious about it, and the curiosity beat the fear. So, you know, we all have different things about it, but for me, that's what it was. I wish the shame and the fear wasn't there.
Okay. So in the chat, we have Mr. Carpenter. Someone put how to fake it.
Okay, I
Oh,
don't know about that one, so you might need to talk about that one, Glenda. I can't, I can't talk about that one.
okay. Okay. In the chat, we have another one. It doesn't have to take a long time. And that's from one of our male participants tonight.
Wait a minute. We're not going to nitpick anything because what we're saying, what you wish you had learned. We're not
Right.
picking
I
anything.
think did everybody understand the question and Mr. Carpenter's example and how he rephrased it? I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, that we're talking about and putting in the chat what we wish we could unlearn. So are we all on the same page?
And the reason why she brought this question up, because if you unlearn shame, the shame that open a door for deeper connection and richer pleasure and real intimacy. If these things you putting in the chat right now, if we unlearn these things, they take away a lot of the shame. You open the door for a deeper connection, richer pleasure, and real intimacy. So that's why this is important to know that. And if you want to openly share yours, you can. But this is the reason why we asked that one question. Because at our age, it's no longer about risk prevention or shame. It's about how do you, somebody, you laughing, Glenda. When you laugh like that, my mind is wondering what the heck she laughing at. So you want to share before I go through what I'm going through?
No, I don't. Not really.
Then you want me to share it? Just tell me so I can share.
There's something Andre put in the chat, and I'm like, what?
You can't read it. Let's read it then. Just read it.
I'll read it, Andre. We may need you to elaborate a little bit. It says, how would Glenda know how to fake it, sir?
I guess Glenda, well, okay, I'm glad you put that in there. I guess Glenda will look at some of the TV shows and some of the movies where the ladies talking about they fake it just to get the guy off. I guess you learn like the rest of the ladies learn. Well, she be in a conversation in the bathroom when the ladies talking and said, man, I fake just get him off me. He won't do nothing, girl.
Yeah, I only said that because he deferred it to you, Glenda. And I said, well, how would she know?
That's why I laughed, because I knew I had a good feeling what you meant by that. He put it back on me. I was like, what?
I know the conversations they be having. So, hey, and this is one conversation I heard. For some reason, I'm around a lot of ladies, and for some reason they talk open and honest around me, and I get to listen. And I guess that's why I'm here on Sunday night at 9. I'm able to be at home. But this one lady said, girl, he talking about he was a tiger. And you know what? I tried all I could to get away so I could get with this guy. And we got together one night at the hotel. Girl, I had to fake it to get him off of me. He wasn't no tiger. He wasn't even a pussycat. I said, what in the heck? She said she had to fake it to get him off so she could get her butt home. I've heard all kinds of stories. And here's another story. I'm going to share this one story, then I'll get up and I'll shut up and let Glenda go, because this kind of stuff I know a lot about.
Okay.
A lot of times I heard other ladies say, well, hey, look, I got a code with my girlfriend. I got a code with my girlfriend. Call me in about 30 minutes or call me in about 15 minutes. And if I answer the call and I say, I'm good, everything is cool, it's okay. But if I don't say everything is cool time I pick up the phone, then you tell me about the emergency you have and I got to come save you. Why are you laughing, Glenn?
I ain't never heard of that one, but okay.
Anybody that heard that other than me? With a girlfriend, your best friend have a code, and what they do is they help save you. And you got a code, so if it ain't working out right, you can leave. Well, Gigi said no. Sharon Fox said yes. It may be a guy code. Okay. I didn't know guys did that. I thought guys worked through it. Nope. Okay. All right. Then you teaching me something now. I knew girls did it. I didn't know guys did it. Oh man, this is awesome. You guys got me smiling and excited already. I need to settle down so I can get back into our list and our study notes. Oh wow, this is interesting. We start now.
Someone put in the chat, I think this new generation need to learn a healthy balance and boundaries too.
Okay, that's good. That is good. And you talk about new generation. Now, you talk about new generation, you talking about an older new generation, or you talking about the mid generation? Because this new generation, which is the new, the old or the new? Oh, Andre said all of it. Okay, good. Now you about right. Because in this generation, you got what's called modern relationships. Modern relationship, anything goes. Anything you're big and bad enough to do that you and your partner agree to goes. A lot of the rules have been thrown out. If you're old fashioned right now, you might struggle trying to find somebody to meet your needs. Because there's some old fashioned, but old fashioned is, I don't think old fashioned is the lay of the land anymore. Am I wrong? Oh, who still feel they're in the old fashioned rule book?
I do sometimes.
Define old fashioned.
Okay, old fashioned is that you believe no sex before marriage. You got to take them home to your mom and daddy. You got to date them. You got to date them forever and a day before you get that first or second kiss and all this kind of stuff.
Now that's too old fashioned.
Wait a minute, I'm just throwing something out there. Your old fashioned may be a little different. Those are the kind of things I say old fashioned, because I've seen it now where some people expect something on the first or second date, when old fashioned is we don't even kiss on the first date. Ain't no talking about no intercourse. We don't even kiss the first date. Old fashioned. Or you gotta, it's more to what, okay, not really too old fashioned. Sharon, explain that, Sharon, because you got me on that one. Do you mind?
Okay, yeah, okay. What I meant by that, when Glenda stated that's too old fashioned, I was saying not really, not that old fashioned. Because think about it, look how times are now. If we would have stuck to them old fashioned rules, it'll be a lot less trauma or sexual issues and stuff like that we go through now. That's what I meant.
Okay, got it. First date doesn't mean he has to pay your rent. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one, Andre. That's a good one, Andre, because now a lot of people use sex dating as transaction. You're dating somebody first, you're dating somebody, you think you're dating, when realize you're having transaction instead of connection. Because there's an exchange of money, resources, or whatever. There's an exchange. You might as well get a receipt.
Well, I think that came about. I really think that came about because men required and requested so much from the female. She felt like, wait a minute, I got to get something back.
Okay, all right. Okay, I think Glenda said.
I don't agree with that.
Okay,
I don't agree with that, because
you got to explain.
If you go back,
Mr. So explain, sir.
If you go back and think about it, from day one, all you ever heard as a male, oh, you got to pay to play. So why would you think it was the men's fault?
Well, I don't know. Maybe all the men need to talk, because I didn't get that off the riff. I didn't.
No, what she was saying.
Oh.
What she was saying, if I understood her right,
Mm-hmm.
it's because of us putting.
Yeah,
I don't even know how to. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was saying I think women adapted that kind of attitude or outlook is because from the beginning, men always requested something or wanted something. So she felt like if she did go along with it, had to been something in there for her too.
I'm always in the room hearing something. I heard the lady say that, hey, we ain't selling it, but you ain't getting it for free neither.
Not for sale, but we ain't giving it away.
I've heard that too. But let's start reeling this back in because we need to go some material because we've got a lot to go through and we want to make sure we get it all out tonight because right now we're going to have fun.
Okay, Mr. Carpenter, before we move on, I had to get some clarification from one of the comments in the chat before we move on. And the person responded when we were talking about what they would want to unlearn, someone put in the chat oral sex. And I wanted to make sure I understood them correctly. I said, and I asked them, you wish you could unlearn that? And they said, yes.
Okay, let's park right here for a little. Let's put the kickstand down right here for a minute. Let's put the kickstand down and do it. Now, I guess I'm going to start off. I'm going to start off because I go down a rabbit hole quicker than anybody. Is it it could be they wish they unlearned it because they haven't found the right techniques to make what happened needs to happen, or they've been the receiver of bad technique, and they're saying, what the heck? Get up, it ain't working. Which are we talking about?
That's a Bernie Mac question.
Okay, I see.
If the person wants to elaborate or explain more, feel free, or you can put it in the chat and I'll read it. I know that Andre, he said that's self-explanatory. And Andre also put in the chat, it could be all of the above.
Okay, all right, because I know, and I'm speaking, and I'll go ahead and put it out. I'll talk about myself. I remember at a young age when I first got involved and people were doing me, it tickled, and I said just stop. It was a lot of years before it stopped tickling, or I just had to change my partner or whatever. But when it first happened to me, I was saying, please, I was saying to myself, this ain't what I thought it would be. But my first stages, it tickled. So I wasn't looking to laugh. So that didn't work for me right out the gate. But as I got older and learned and my partners became more experienced, we figured it out.
We figured it out, or they figured it out?
They figured it out. And that was the benefit. That was the benefit of their newfound knowledge.
Someone put in the chat, maybe oral sex is not for everyone. I don't think it is. Some people, they like you said, it's addictive, and then some people it's like, I don't even need all that licking.
I guess, and another thing too, and on the real side now, I guess that when your body stopped performing, and you're married or you're in a committed relationship and you can't penetrate. It could be you can't penetrate because the lady might have what's those fibrotic tumors, and it may hurt. It may hurt when you doing intercourse, so she may not want it, and then oral sex may be an alternative. It may be an alternative because you don't need a penetration, or it could be ED that the person can't penetrate, and they got a committed partner, and what do you do? It could be a viable option.
Okay. All right.
And I'm just spitballing here. I'm just saying, hey, let's talk about it. And somebody put sometime it's considered to be part of four. Oh, that's a good one. That it's a 5-starter. Definitely a 5-starter. If you want to get a full-on blaze, that's definitely a 5-starter.
Now, someone else put in the chat, I wonder if scientifically, Good oral sex may take your interest away from physical sex.
There was
I
a
don't
lady,
understand that one.
there was
Because
a lady.
oral is physical.
Let me share this. There was a lady on TikTok or Instagram, one of those, and this lady said, "Baby, let me tell you about our sex. If you get the right one," and she said she running. She said she don't want no more. So the right one made her lose her mind.
Oh, you need a whooping. You need a whooping.
It was on TikTok. It's on TikTok. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. That she even broke it down as a girl. She was telling her girlfriends on TikTok
Mm-hmm.
how that guy rocked her world. She run.
But you know, that's an individual thing. You know what I mean?
Oh
That's not
man.
you compare to everyone. It's an individual thing. Some people like that, and some people like other stuff. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can't. They just don't rely on one thing. Like for example, it gets stagnant in a room when you're doing the same thing over and over again. Become monotonous, become bored. So you have to figure out a way to make it interesting. You got to be what they call a freak in the bedroom. And just because you're a freak in the bedroom by namesake, don't mean you have to do so much crazy stuff, but you got to do different stuff. You got to be open-minded and go with the flow. That's the name of the game, actually, is going with the flow.
I'm
It
glad
ain't
you
no
said that.
stage or step you got to do that. It's just going whatever comes to mind or whatever you get caught up in, just let it flow.
I'm glad you said that, Mr. Kingdom, because there was a study, and it said the communication is the strongest predictor of satisfaction in relationship. It was a 2024 mega analysis of 93 studies, and they found clear that positive correlation between open sexual conversation and both partners' sexual certification across a lot of age groups and cultures. That you're right. If you talk, because if you communicate and talk about it and decide that, hey, let's put some variety in that conversation, just being able to talk about it, a lot of people say that's the strongest predictor of being pleasured.
I got a question.
Yes,
We
sir.
all grown folks, but I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so for the females, but yet it's for everyone. Speaking of intimacy, who's ultimately in control during intimacy? The male or the female?
We both are.
Okay, that's one. Anybody
Okay.
else?
You said I let the ladies talk before I say something.
Yeah.
I think both is correct as well.
Okay, and
Both.
it said both. We got both. That should have been a chat question. It says the good question, BC. What'd you say, Andre? You went too fast.
I was saying that I think that while y'all are saying you're both in control, I think that women really want the man to be in control, because if he's just sitting there following instructions, she's gonna say, I don't feel like teaching him.
I heard women say they're not gonna teach anybody. I heard that
When
too.
y'all done, I'm gonna give y'all something to think
All right,
about when you're
but here,
done.
okay. I think they're about done. But here's what I'm gonna say. The most skilled person is in control.
Mm.
The most skilled person is in control. All right.
So you know that for a fact, or that's your response?
That's what most I come up with.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The most skilled meaning the most experienced. You're
That's
saying
part of it. Yes.
Right.
I can somewhat agree with that, but then the reason I asked the question, okay, from my research and experience, the male actually is the dominant one for us having control. And the reason I say that is a woman has so many sensitive spots within themselves and out around themselves, behind the ear, the breast, and whatever is inside. They have all those sensitive spots that God gave them to be pleasured. Okay? Now, God gave a man three things to satisfy a woman with. Okay, and we all grown. We know what those three things are. I hope anyway. And during intimacy, a man should always implement at least two of them things simultaneously at the same time, all the time. And God forbid if he do all three. If he's touching you as a female and hitting the right spots with all three, how in the world can a woman simultaneously, that's cool, because I did say that I thought. But anyway, if a man is touching you with three different angles, touching those sensitive spots, how in the world can a woman be in control when she don't even know, because your body automatically reacts to those touches. So if he's touching those spots, how can a woman control when she's losing control?
A well-trained woman.
Wait, one at a time, please. One at a time. Gigi, you go first, and I think Felicia. Gigi first, Felicia second. Go ahead, Gigi.
A well-trained woman knows how to pleasure her man, as well as a man knows how to pleasure his woman. There are sensitive spots on men, and I cannot elaborate because I will have to go too in depth with it. But a woman can pleasure a man and be in control because I am a dominant woman.
Okay. You're right about men having those some spots.
All right, but
Yes.
Mr. Kingdom, let Felicia go first, next, and then you can go ahead and talk.
Go ahead.
Felicia, I think you lit up once, didn't you, Felicia?
I think that was me.
Oh, that okay. But I thought it was Felicia. Okay, if it wasn't
I thought
Felicia,
somebody else said something as
whoever
well.
it was, let them go next, and then you. Whoever that was lit up. Was you, Sharon? Go ahead, Sharon.
Yeah, it was me. You
Go
know,
ahead.
it amazes me how men so automatically have in their head that what they do is always pleasing, or the women is so sensitive to these certain areas and stuff. That's not necessarily true. And men are just as sensitive.
They are. But then on the flip side, when you think about it, okay, if a man, well, I guess now that I think about it, I go with Rufus for his the experience. It will pretty much be the first one that can initiate to have the control for as the experienced woman to an experienced man. Because if that woman, now that I think about it, do hit those spots on the man first, he's lost at the rip. But then if a man do the same to the woman first, it's no way you can be in control. So I think that's like a first come, first serve basis. The first one to really that's experienced and initiate to have the control. Because you have men that's whipped, where a woman has whipped him. But then on the flip side, you have, if not 50-50, the majority where the men whip the women. You got DW, you got PW. It's just a matter of who initiates first with the experience. I think now, after I just thought about it.
About anybody else want to comment before I weigh in again? No more comments? Okay. About 8 months ago, we did a segment on sexual pleasure and sex. And somebody said in there that the woman can turn herself into a Six Flag ride. It was one of the comments, and in that comment, it was brought out that women would have more control over a man, and we talked about it in detail. I'm still going to say that the most experienced one will carry the load in that intimate moment. But that about 8 months ago, we talked about the same subject in detail, and it was kind of interesting. And we talked about a very interesting, because think about it, and this is something I'm just going to say out there. In the trade, of this, who controls? In the sexual trade, who controls? And I'm just gonna throw it just like that and leave it just like that. All right, move on, Glenda. Let's go to the next one.
All right. Let's see. Okay, why is this conversation so critical? We are going over sex education is a lifespan skill set. Early Birds and Bees talks often stop at biology or risk reduction, yet adult intimacy demands fluency in constant pleasure, emotional safety, aging bodies, trauma recovery, and cultural content. Then we have communication is the strongest predictor of satisfaction. A 2024 meta-analysis of 93 studies found clear positive correlations between open sexual communication and both relationship and sexual satisfaction across ages and cultures.
If you guys have any questions about when she read this, when she bring these things up, you can ask your question. Go ahead, Glenn.
Oh, okay. Unique pressures on Black women. Research linked chronic racism-related stress to higher rates of sexual dysfunction, 40% of Black women versus 30% of Black men, and and to self-silencing around pleasure. Historical narratives of respectability and moral policing intensify shame and make medically accurate information harder to access.
Okay, back that up. When she said, think about it. When you think about sexual dysfunction, a lot of people think it's the man. A lot of people think ED would come up first and the man would have sexual problems. But in this study, 40% of the women versus 30% of the men said they had dysfunction.
Right.
So that make you think. I know, we all know that a man's biggest problem, ED, and then you have people have mental problems that, hey, that's not, it's some stuff there. But what are some of the problems women have other than fibroids and stuff like that? Anyone to share? Okay, how do women have that? That was my question, Andre. I was trying to get to that on the cover. So Andre, read Andre's question, Glenda. Because that's what I was trying to ask that question, but I didn't know how to ask it. Go ahead.
How do women have dysfunction?
Women, help us out. How do women have dysfunction? I know when a man can't get it done.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Women, I don't know if it's necessarily a dysfunction or don't really want to be bothered with what they got. And you really have to carefully vet a man that you're dealing with, because a lot of them act like Pinocchio. They go around here, tell all these lies about what they can do, what happened, what's happening with them. And then they get there and there's nothing. And you're disappointed. So that's how I feel.
Okay, so there used to be a time when they say women used to be frigid and all this kind of stuff. That was a back in the day they should say that. But what you just said, Gigi, is that it's a mental block. It's a mental block. The prior experiences now have you mentally or emotionally create a dysfunction.
Right.
So that's one way, because that's one way you could have PTSD trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And so you wouldn't I've seen women that won't even let men touch them. Menopause. Right. Menopause is one reason. Yes. Menopause. Okay. All right. So that kind of helped us out a little bit there. So that's great. That's great. Any more questions on this one before we roll in? Let's go ahead and do our one of our illustrate example.
Illustrations. Okay.
Yeah, because this is important. I think this answers one of those questions.
Okay. We have Amara and James, married 17 years. After Amara's fibroid surgery, penetrative sex became painful. A couple's intimacy workshop on sensual touch revealed new routes to closeness. Weekly no-go massage nights restored trust and desire.
So that one of the takeaways you get from this right off the rip, your body changes. No matter what, your body changes. So when your body change, you got to change your playbook. If uses all night long was all night long when you guys were 100% in your rhythm, but then like this thing right here, she had a medical hit. All night now ain't working. So what are some of the things that you do? And this no-go massage is nice because then it's no-go mean that you're just relaxed, you're just having your fun, you're not trying to massage you to rouse you to get your way with getting pleasure. It's no-go that you're just trying to have a connection with me, you're trying to be open with me. You're trying to make me feel that you care, that we're connected. That intimate, we're doing the intimacy that way. That's the way we build on our relationship and closeness. Any comments on this, audience? Anybody want to comment on this, or anybody have any takeaways or anything they want to share about this type of situation? And remember, they were married 17 years, so they pretty much got into a routine or got into a rhythm.
Well, I did want to make a comment because you said that they have been married for 17 years. That leads you to believe, or leads you to think, that there has to be something more to your relationship than just sex.
Correct.
Because when life starts taking toll on your body and you start experiencing things like ED, menopause, fibroids, and vaginal dryness, all types of stuff, even cancer, to be honest. If there's no love, there's no commitment, dedication, like I said, until death do us part, what else is there in your relationship? Because if you focus so much on the physical part, when life does happen, how do you stay with this person for another year or throughout their process of getting there, getting back to some form of normalcy?
Okay.
I agree with you 100%. You got to have other outs because there's many forms of intimacy. There's a lot of people, like, even when you sit back and hear them talking about Netflix and chill, just sitting there in somebody's arm, cuddling, watching movies, or just going out and enjoying the company is a form of intimacy. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually also can be used as part of what they call foreplay.
Mm-hmm.
Good example. My first wife and I, shit, every time we used to go out bowling, enjoy, and get all excited with the competition stuff, we get home, shit, that's like aphrodisiac. We ready to do something.
Mm-hmm.
It's automatically instant. But you got a lot of people that focus on just that and feel that's what your relationship is about. But a relationship and marriage is totally about the two of you coming together and really truly loving each other. Because sex ain't I ain't gonna say that. Because some people, sex is what brought them together. My thing is, you got to become friends first.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a mental connection first. And sex is the bonus to that.
Right. Correct.
You know what I mean? Because if you got everything above, the sex ain't even got to be all that. But because of everything else, it'll make the pleasure in sex. You understand?
Yeah, Glenda, share that one about pleasure as liberation. Share that one. Can you share that one for us with us, Glenda?
Yes, Pleasure as Liberation, a 2025 Southern U.S. study of Black women's most pleasurable sexual experiences show that emotional safety, mutual respect, and self-advocacy were key, underscoring that pleasure is both relational
Relational.
and political.
That says a lot there. That says a lot. And I think that's what Ms. King was kind of talking a little bit about that. Because a pleasuring right here, it shows that the emotional safety, respect, self-advocacy, these are things, being able to say what's important to you, what you want, what you like, being able to know that you don't have to worry about this emotional toll on you. At our age, from the 40s to the 70s, you don't want a lot of pressure. You don't want a lot of stuff. The day I was in church today, and the bishop, who's the pastor, he preached about peace. At our age, we want peace. We want peace of mind, because if somebody's going to disturb your peace, you don't even want to be with them. So at our age, you don't want drama anymore. You don't want drama in your life especially from your significant other or who you're that intimate with. So peace is very, very important.
It is. Glenda,
Yeah.
can you read that last statement somebody posted in the chat? It was a long version.
Yes, I can get that. Why is it that men have a hard time to accept not being able to perform like they did when younger, or no sex at all? Like she said, mind over matter.
Ooh, that's you hitting home now. You hitting on below the belt now. Goodness gracious. Well,
Because
go ahead. I'll let you go first, Ms. King. Do not go second.
I feel now, it's just me thinking, it's hard for a man because a man is put on this plateau where he has to be that. And then it's a mindset of where he feels if it gets out that he can't perform, what he's going to look like. It's a macho thing.
Mhm.
But in reality, for example, if you lose your eyesight, your other senses become more powerful.
Right.
You understand? So sex is the same thing. If you ain't able to actually penetrate, then your other attributes should kick in to be pleasurable. You understand? If you can't do the other pleasurable stuff, then your intimacy, your penetration should be on point. When you lose one part, it strengthens the other parts. That's my mindset on that.
All right. Okay. Anybody else want to weigh in on this? Because this is when we answer this one, we're gonna start turning the corner, Glenda. You can bring us home after this. But that was a great question, and read that question again, Glenda, because that's it. That's the essence of tonight's podcast, tonight's show. So read that one again, Glenda.
You talking about from the chat?
Yeah, that long chat that somebody
Okay, no problem. Why is it that men have a hard time to accept not being able to perform like they did when younger, or no sex at all? Like I said, mind over matter.
That's an excellent question and an excellent analogy. But here's the thing. When that happens to a man, the first thing that person think about is loss. I've lost something that been with me all my life. I lost the ability. It's scarce. Now, then next is control. I can't control myself. I can't even control the situation with me and her together. So now I don't have control of myself or the situation. Then next, you get that you feel the unknown. What's next? The unknown. Then you feel that word insecurity. You have insecurity. Will my mate, my partner, will they still need me or pleasure me or want me? Will I still be the option for the Sunday night movies, or will I be the option for, hey, let's late, come on over? or will I be the option? And then remember those attachment styles we did early on, about the secure attachment. Then we had the anxious attachment, and then we had all the other three or four. Think about that. If all my life, or all our life, all our relationship life, me and my partner, we really had it made. I could satisfy her, or in a heartbeat, with the stuff that somebody had, the tools I use, or something. Like there was a song that said the tools I use. If that was the case, now all of a sudden I don't have that. When you said mentally, it's really mental. It's really at a point now, I really don't know what to do. Because when you talk about attachment styles, secure attachment style is a mental thing that, hey, I know I feel good about myself, the situation. I'm not concerned about my significant other. We're straight. I'm secure in that relationship. And then you have anxious. Anxious is where you're needy. You don't trust the person. You always want to be around them. You always want them in your face because you think they're gonna tip off. Now, if I can't satisfy you as a man because I got ED, is it gonna change am I gonna go from now secure to being anxious? And then is it avoidance? Think about it. Then the next stage is next attachment style is avoidance. I know I can't do nothing for you in the bedroom. Am I going to avoid that? Am I going to avoid you altogether?
You know what,
Yeah.
Rufus?
Uh-huh.
Let me tell you, I feel that mentally, if a man, let's just say a man becomes where he intimate, he has ED.
Mm-hmm.
He shouldn't shy away from the bedroom because there's other things you can do because of the love and the friendship and the communication that y'all have. There's other things he can do on that level. Like I said, you strengthen your other mindsets and other things that can pleasure her where that's not an issue. Because if you sit down and you really think about it right now,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many females, so many that don't really need a man for his penetration. They got these little things called the rose that takes them to a pleasure where, shit, that's all I need because it takes them where they want to be at.
There
I know, and
ROSE?
I read, huh?
ROSE?
Yeah, rose, like a rose bush.
Rose. You
Oh,
Yes,
know what
rose.
a rose is. Come on now. But anyway, I saw on TikTok, this lady made a comment, okay, about men and studs. There's more studs out there now with women going to women. And the reason being that she said is because the man has got away from the original things like messing with the breasts. She called them the T words, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be respectable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The men don't want to do all that no more. All they want to do is just get on and penetrate. And that's why a lot of them studs and stuff, women want women now because a lot of women goes to the old school, as they would say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, back in the day, we used to like to play. When we was in school and young, we played a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
And that's what women are doing to women now. They're playing first.
Mr.
That's
Kingdom,
what the girl
Mr.
was
Kingdom,
saying
try
on
to reel it
TikTok.
in, Mr. Kingdom, because we
Go
have to
ahead.
go to Glenda so she can bring us home.
Bring us home.
All right. I mean, I didn't want to cut you off, but I just want to let you know that.
Bring us home. I'm ready to go.
Okay.
I don't mean like and get off the phone. I mean I'm ready to hear it.
Okay. All right, Glenda, bring us home. Well, first, anybody on the line have anything they want to bring up or any discussion they want to bring up first? We're going to open the floor, give everybody a chance to say before Glenda bring us home. Anybody got a comment they want to put out or anything they feel on the heart or they want to share before Glenda close us out? Going once, going twice. Glenda?
okay. So, family, we bring this conversation to a close. I want to leave you with this. You never age out of learning how to love, how to listen, how to grow. That little birds and bees tell you God. that little birds and bees tell you God.
You got it. You got it.
Was just okay, thank you. That was just the introduction. Intimacy is not a destination, it's a language. And every year your accent changes. Maybe now it includes therapy or menopause or body confidence or deeper desire, or simply being brave enough to say, this is what I like now. So I look forward to seeing you guys next Sunday at 9 o'clock. I thank you so much for your participation as well as your feedback and your comments. And Mr. Kingdom, thank you so much for bringing the rose to my attention, because no, I didn't know what it was, but I just
Annette, were you gonna say something, Annette? Because like Annette,
no, I was just going to say good night. That's it.
No, she wasn't.
You
That's
guys
it.
have been so awesome through these last two sessions. You guys really talk open and honest. You let the audience know that, hey, you know, we're the age now. We don't have to be shameful or have secrets. So thank you very, very much for being open. You really help the community when you have these kind of conversations out in the public. Good day, everybody. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Yeah.